Hello, welcome to order to cash session in business process. As usual, we'll start with objectives. Objectives of this session is to cover what is order to cash process and what are the parties involved. We'll analyze the business flow for the sales order, and we will see how we can incorporate EDI so that we know that how a business process can be represented through EDI messages. Next, we'll analyze business flow with release, then we'll again incorporate EDI. To note, these two are not the all business process for OTC, but these two are the major ones. For the order to cash, let's review the characteristics first, and then we will see who are the parties involved. Characteristics for OTC is a customer side process. It starts with sales. It ends with payments. There are transfer of goods and services, and there is a reduction of stock on the supplier side. And the parties involved in this process, you have the sold to, shipped to, billed to, and payee. And your company acts as a vendor. And then the last party is the bank. They belong to customer and you. To go to the customer types, as we noted a bit on the previous slide, sold to party. This particular customer sends you the sales order or the release. That is the second OTC process we are going to look at. Shipped to, it's another entity where goods or services are delivered. Billed to is the party that you bill, who receives the invoice, and payee is the partner who pays for the goods that you send, or in other words, they pay the receivables. One note that a sold to can function as all four. What that means that the trading partner who places the order for goods to you, he can be the ship to. You ship the goods to him, you bill to him, and he's the one who pays you back. But if your customer is very big, then you're going to have one sold to or multiple sold tos, multiple ship tos, multiple bill tos, maybe one payee per continent or per geographic location. Let's take a look at the sales order process in OTC. First, we will go through the steps just to give you a bit understanding that what happens if there is no EDI. One of the prerequisites of this process that the material that you are going to ship or the customer is going to order for, that material exists in your company, and the pricing has been agreed as well, or at the minimum the quote has been approved. Now let's take a look at the different process that happens. First, customer sends you the sales order. Sometimes the sales orders are also called spot buys. Once you receive the sales order, let's say customer either fax you or he calls you over the phone, you create the sales order in your system. Then if you have the goods in your stock, you get ready to ship the goods. And when you ship the goods out, either you fax the customer or you call him saying that, hey, your goods are on its way. After that, you send an invoice to customer. You can fax it, or you can fax it because it's a legal document. Customer requests his bank to pay your bank customer sends you the payment information saying that I'm paying you for these goods that I received against this PO that I initiated. Your bank notifies you with the account statement or logbox data telling that your customer has sent money to your account. Then you go back and you update your GL in your system. So this, starting from 1 to 9, this whole thing completes the sales order related OTC process. And please do note that there are no EDI till now. Now let's say that we want to incorporate EDI and want to represent the whole process that we looked at through the messages in e-commerce. And I have exactly like 5 messages. You have one, the sales order. As you know from our previous session, they're called 850. Then once we ship the goods, we send the advance ship notice, which is 856. Then 3 is the invoice that we send to customer. 4, customer sends me the payment information, and he also sends the payment detail to his bank. Our bank receives the data and sent us the logbox data saying that you got paid from your customer. So this is the customer side who places the order, and this is the supplier where you ship the goods and you receive the order. So the process that we looked previously can be represented through EDI, and instead of calling or faxing, this whole process of sending and receiving data can be automated through EDI. A bit more description of this EDI process. Step 1, sales order EDI 850, customer sends to your company. Number 2, advance shipping notification, your company sends to customer and it goes to ship to location. Number 3, this is not shown in the flow, but chances are that you are going to see this message in your professional life, which is called application advice. It is EDI 824 message. This one customer will send indicating there is an error in 856, and so he's going to ask you to resend the 856 with correction. Number 4 is receipt advice. It is not shown also in the flow. This 861 or receipt advice is sent in response to the goods that customer receives. The moment customer receives the goods, he will let you know that, hey, I have received the goods. Once the goods are received, then you are good to do the invoice. You send the EDI 810 and it's sent to the bill to party. Number 6 again is the application advice, which is 824, and it's not shown in the flow as well. Customer sends indicating error in 810 that you sent, and you may have to resend it again after correcting the error in the document. Number 7, 820, customer sends to you and his bank. Number 8 is the cash receipt, which is the EDI 823, your company's bank sends, and you update your GL. So these 8 steps out of that 824s and 861s are not shown. That completes the whole order to cash cycle. And this order to cash process will be in the implementation guideline that the customer is going to send you. Now let's take a look at what happens when we get a release instead of spot buys. For release, just like orders, there has to be some prerequisite data existing in your system. There has to be an agreement for materials and prices must exist in your system, that you already, or your customer already negotiated a price for a given material, and sometimes it may be the quantity for a given time frame, maybe a year. That's already agreed. So let's start the process. Number 1, customer calls and notifies about the forecast or the requirement that he's going to require over a certain time frame. Excuse me. Number 2, you create the forecast in your system within the agreement. So it has to be done within the agreement. Task 3, customer calls and notifies the shipping schedule, and it's optional. For some customers, they will use this shipping schedule. They're gonna give you the shipping date, or they will tell you use the forecast dates as the shipping dates. Task 4, you create the new shipping schedule in your system within the scheduling agreement. Step 5, if you are doing the production, you run MPS MRP for production and procurement. Number 6, MPS stands for Master Planning Schedule. MRP stands for Material Requirements Planning. Number 6, once your goods are available in your stock, you create delivery based on shipping schedule. If you have received shipping schedule or customer called you. Number 7, you ship the goods to customer and you notify customer saying that, hey, goods are on your way, you can fax it. You invoice customer requests his bank to pay, customer sends you the payment information, your bank sends you account statement, and you update your GL. So these 12 steps with the release process completes the OTC. That means that you receive the order and you receive the cash. If we try to incorporate that into EDI, then here is your customer and here is you as supplier. Customer sends forecast 8:30 and 8:62. You ship the goods, you send advance ship notice, the goods goes from here to here. You send the invoice to customer sends you the payment, and customer lets his bank know to debit his account and to credit his account, provided you and your customer do the banking in the same bank. If it is not, there will be an interbank transaction happening to move the fund from your customer bank account to your account. Once your bank receives the payment from the customer or from customer's bank, he will send you the logbox data to tell you that you have received the cash. So that completes the OTC to release process. If I go to next slide for the flow description. Step 1, the forecast schedule, EDI 8:30. Step 2, shipping schedule. 3 is advance ship notice, or the 8:56 EDI. Step 4 is application advice, EDI 8:24. Is not shown in the flow. Step 5 is receipt advice, which is 8:61. It's also not shown. It is the acknowledgement of goods receipt. Number 6 is invoice, or 8:10 that you send. Number 7 is application advice, or EDI 8:24, means something is wrong with the data in 8:10. Number 8, you get the payment, customer sends the payment advice and it sends to you and his bank. Number 9, your bank sends you the logbox data with the cash receipt, and with that you update your GL and GL account and subledger. So as we can see that a real life OTC or to cash process which can be done with phone calls or fax can be automated through EDI. Only the difference that you saw from this EDI process than what we saw in the manual process, in the fax or phone call, all the data has to be keyed in manually in the system. But with this EDI, all the data flow is automated. The messages that we talked, they are noted on ANSI X12, but if our customer uses EDIFACT, we can easily map these 850 to EDIFACT messages. 850 purchase orders is orders in EDIFACT. 856 dispatch advice. 810 invoice. 820 is remittance advice, REMADV. 823 is the log box. 830 is forecast, delivery forecast. 862 is DELJIT. 824 is APRAC. 861 is the RECADV or receiving advice. I could not find any 830 corresponding EDIFACT because 830 or the log box is primarily used in US. And this way that bank receives all the receipts, cash receipts for one of his customer, in this case your company, and then at the end of the day he lets you know that how much cash you received. With that, we'll end this order to cash session. One thing I want to point out is the reason that we're going through these business processes for order to cash, and there are 2 more sessions on procure to pay and a special process like vendor direct ship. The reason as a EDI professional you should know, because this process has a great impact on how you do EDI, and your understanding is very warranted on this respect. The more you know about this process, how they react to the application, the better you are gonna be in implementation and support of this of the EDI transactions and managing the trading partners. With that, I will end the session. Hope it's been helpful. I'll see you in the next lecture. Thanks.